Hello everybody, welcome back to the Traxion YouTube channel. Now it's week 2 for the Fanatec GT3 Challenge series on iRacing, and this week we are at the Hockenheimring, and once again we're in the Porsche 911 GT3 R. Now some of you may have seen my track guides before, and you will know that it's not a place for hot laps. This is a slow, methodical approach to learn the circuit and talk about the quirks that each circuit has. So first of all, I'll show you the lap in full, then we'll jump in the car, have a slow drive round, talk about each turn, what I use as my braking markers and my reference points, and slowly pick up the pace to show you those in action. At any point during the video, if you like what you see, please click on the like button, and please make sure that you subscribe if you haven't already. So enough talking, let's get on track. So here we are on the grid at Hockenheim. So firstly, I've set up this session to match the official series. So it's the 3rd of July 2021 and the time is 7:10 AM. Brake bias, I'm using 49.5. Default with the medium downforce sprint is 54. I found that 49.5 works well. There's not too many places here where you're trail braking. It's all about the two heavy braking areas. So the more balanced your braking is, front to back, the better you're going to stop. So 49.5 works well for me. But as always, if you find the car is over-rotating on the brakes, just dial that number up towards baseline, which is 54. Just play with a number that suits you. Now, Hockenheim is all about maximising the track limits here. If you don't, you're going to get left behind. And there's a couple of places here where you can run a lot wider than you think you could. And also there's places where you can cut where you think you couldn't. So, as always, we'll take it nice and slowly. Then we'll slowly build up the pace and try and show you what I use as my braking markers and reference points in action. So as we approach turn 1, we're going to be in 5th gear. And we're looking for the 100 board. That's going to be our braking marker, or just after. We want to try and get the car, the left-hand side of the car, on these curbs to open up this right-hander as much as possible. So at the 100, we're going to be braking. We're going to be getting all the braking done in a straight line here. We're not going to be carrying any braking really to the apex. We're going to be getting it done, getting the car nice and settled. Because if you don't, then you're going to have trouble when you get to the apex. The car will be a little bit loose. So get the car nice and settled, down into 4th gear. And we're going to be turning in, and we're going to be just missing this sausage curb on the right hand side. There is quite a bit of downforce at this point. You are carrying quite a bit of speed, so if you do hit the sausage curb, it doesn't matter really, but just be careful with your throttle application because the car will get out of control and you may spin. Now, this is one of the places where you can run a lot wider than you think you can. So you can carry the car all the way out to these curbs here and then just get it back on before the green AstroTurf and you're fine. So then down to turn number 2. Now, I sacrificed a little bit of corner entry speed here to gain it on exit because we're going to be flat out, foot to the floor as soon as we exit this turn. And then there's a long straight up to the tight hairpin. So whatever speed we can carry out of here, we're going to carry all the way to the hairpin. And that's one of the biggest overtaking places here at Hockenheimring. So, braking marker here. Like I said, I sacrifice a little bit on entry just to make sure that I nail the apex. So it's around about the 100 or just this access road on the left hand side. And again, we're going to try and get the left tyres on the curb. Then we're going to be all the way down to second gear. We're not going to go into first gear. And then we're going to apex this one quite late. And we're going to try and miss this sausage curb on the right hand side. If you hit that, then it's going to compromise your exit. So as soon as you get to this point, you're going to be flat on the gas in second gear. Try and move to the centre of the circuit there and then open up this left. Cut this a little bit, not too much because it is quite bumpy. And that can scrub off a little bit of speed. And then we're going to be flat out all the way up to the horrible hairpin. Car right over to the left. Just make the circuit as short as you possibly can. And then we're going to be just up to 6th gear at this point. So braking for me is just before the start of the curb on the left hand side. So just after the 150. Then again, you want your wheels on this curb on the left hand side. So the car will move around a little bit under braking. So just be careful that you don't get too close to the grass. Because we have set the brake bias quite far back, so it will start to move. So then just brake down in a straight line as hard as you can. And then what you want to try and do, you want to try and apex this one quite late. It's difficult. And to be honest, however you get round the hairpin here at Hockenheimring is fine. It's never going to be really tidy. But as long as you can get round without spinning or cutting this curb too much on the inside, because that will bounce the car. And again, be careful on exit because you will get an off track. But if you can apex this one quite late, then you can get a run up to this next complex up here. So don't run too wide. You can run on this sausage a bit. Doesn't matter too much. And then we're flat out here all the way up to 4th gear. Keep it flat, keep it pinned. And then our braking marker here for this one, we're going to be over to the right hand side, is the end of this curb on the right hand side here, the first curb. Be careful though, there is a temptation to get your car really over to the right hand side, but at the end of this curb, as you can see, there is a piece of grass. Now you can get away with touching that and braking. It will unsettle the car, you can get away with it, but it really messes up with nailing this left-handed apex here, which is really important. So try and stay off this curb and then brake hard down into 2nd gear. And then again, we're going to apex this one quite late, miss this sausage curb, and then get on the gas full here. As you can see, the track is slightly cambered, so you can put your foot right down at this point. Car right over to the left on these curbs, up to 3rd, and just after you shift to 3rd, we're going to lift a tiny bit, and then we're going to get the right-hand tyres on this curb. But be careful that you don't get your tyres over the curb, because there is a bump that will then throw your car all the way out left, and you're in big trouble. But then again, you can run the car quite wide here. You can go on this sausage curb, you won't get off track. Just make sure you get it back on here for this right-hander. And this is one of the tricky ones. This is one of the places where you need to be careful when you've got the brake bias quite far back. There's not really anywhere here to use as a braking marker apart from this post here. So just after this post, again, you want the car nice and settled, get your braking done in a straight line, and I almost coast to the apex, maybe a tiny bit of trail braking. And there's a couple of ways around this right-hander. You can either dive it in deep and apex it very late, or I tend to turn in a bit earlier, 4th gear, leave it in 4th gear and cut this curb on the inside. Then you can get on the gas and you can run all the way out here on this AstroTurf and then just get it back before the grass and then move it over to the right for this tight left-hander, which if taken correctly, when you get on the gas, you're turning left. You don't stop turning left until you get round the next left. So it's almost like 2 turns in one. So braking around about the 50 or where the road surface changes colour. Brake in a straight line. We're going to apex this one quite late. And then we're going to get it back over this AstroTurf. And then we're on the gas now, flat out. Let the car run out wide. At speed, you're not going to stop turning left. And then cut this AstroTurf here. And you want your wheels here. You can see there's like between the curb and the grass. Try and point your wheels there if you can. Then you're going to be in 3rd gear. And then here, another really tricky place to brake if you've got the brake bias quite far back. Try and get all your braking done at this little section here in a straight line and just coast it towards the turn. You'll see when we pick up the pace, we're almost playing with the throttle and the brake. Just very, very slight, gentle inputs at this point. And then we're turning in quite late. We'll be in 3rd gear. And then we're going to let the car run out wide. Don't go too far because you'll get off track. And then just at this red piece of paint here, that's going to be where we're going to be turning in, and we're going to be lifting off the gas. The car will then rotate, and we can cut a bit of this curb on the entry to this turn. It is bumpy, but it's fine. It's not as bad as some of the other places. And then let the car run all the way out wide on the grass, on the AstroTurf, then get it back on before the grass. Right, we'll slowly start to pick up the pace now. So remember, so we're in 5th gear, just after the 100, braking down to 4th, get the car nice and settled, then let the car run out wide. Back on for this heavy braking zone here, sacrificing a little bit on entry. So just before the 100, down to 2nd gear, try not to hit that sausage curb, then on the gas. Because whatever speed we carry out that turn, we're going to carry all the way up to the hairpin. The most important corner for overtaking. Well, that's where you're going to find all the sends anyway. So up to 6th gear, then we're going to be looking at the curb on the left hand side. So just before the curb starts, we're going to be braking heavy. Get your wheels on the curb there. Down to 1st gear, try and apex this one quite late. And then accelerate out. Let the car run out wide. And this is flat out here. To 4th gear. You won't need to lift there, I'm just lifting a little bit. Then just before the end of this curb on the right, we're going to be braking down into 2nd. Apex this one late, don't touch the sausage curb. Get on the gas fully. Up to 3rd, then a little lift. Don't go on the right hand side of that curb. And then looking for this post. And then cut this corner, then accelerate, let the car go right out wide. And just before the 50, down into 2nd gear. Apex this one late, then get on the gas. We're not off the gas here. Cut that one, and then here, get all your braking done at this point. Then nice and gentle. Let the car run out wide, and then lift, the car will come back, then accelerate. Again, use all of the track on exit. So again, to 5th gear, just after the 100, brake, down to 4th, car settled. So you're no off track there, you can take a few liberties here. Then just before the 100, down into 2nd gear. Missed that one a little bit, the tyres are cold. Car over to the left hand side, make the circuit as short as you possibly can. Up to 6th, just after the 150, we're going to be braking all the way down to 1st gear. Apex this one late. If you get on the curb there, it doesn't matter, it doesn't have to be tidy, as long as you get round. That's the most difficult corner on the circuit. So flat out here, you don't lift, you can take a bit of curb, it's quite a bit of downforce, it doesn't matter. Just at the end of the curb, down into 2nd gear, apex it quite late, get on the gas full. Short shift to 3rd, little lift, then get on the gas. Let the car run out wide, you can go on the sausage curb, doesn't matter. And brake. I like to cut this one a little bit here, then get on the gas, use all of that on the exit, and braking down into 2nd gear. Apex late, and get on the gas fully. Use all of this on the exit, keep going left. And get the car nice and settled while you go around this turn. Then a lift, We'll try one flying lap. Hopefully the tyres are going to be up to temp. So just after the 100, braking down to 4th, get the car nice and settled, and get on the gas early. Move the car over to the left. Just before the 100, braking down to 2nd gear. Then get on the gas, that's better. So again, keep the car onto the left. This is going to be the overtaking place. So just before the start of the curb on the left, we're going to be braking. Get your wheels on that curb. Open up this right-hand hairpin as much as you possibly can. There, we went over the curb there, but it doesn't really matter. As long as we get round, that's all we're worried about. So left wheel's on the curb, open up this right. Then braking just at the end of the curb there, down to 2nd gear. Then accelerate now. The road's cambered there, it's fine. Little lift there, then back on the gas. So it's difficult with this one. There's not really anywhere to use as a braking marker there at all. It's horrible, that one. You just got to get a feel for it, really. Oh, dead early on the gas there. Curb dragged us in a little bit there, but that's fine. So here we'll try and turn a little bit earlier this time and use all of this there. You've got to maximise the track that you've got here at Hockenheimring. There we go, so that was a steady lap, it wasn't blistering, so that was a 37.99. Track temps 18 degrees, just for information. Race pace and the top split is probably going to be in the 35s, 36s, I guess. Maybe, I'm not too sure. But that's a nice, safe way to get around Hockenheimring. So there we go, that's Hockenheimring done. It's a really difficult circuit, this one, to get consistent laps in because of the heavy braking zones. And those can change slightly depending whether you're in traffic or not. But it's all about sacrificing a little bit on corner entry and gaining it on exit. So if this video did help, please let me know in the comments so I know I'm teaching the right things. Next week, we go to Brands Hatch, which is always fun in the GT3 cars, so make sure you tune in next week for that one. As always, thank you for watching. Have a good week. See you later. Cheers.